Alright, so in this section we're going to add a list group in our sidebar. But before we do that, I want to add the Glyphicons for these boxes here, which I forgot about. If you look at our template, you can see we have these three icons. So this is very easy. In the Bootstrap site, if you go to Glyphicons, you want to pick out whichever image that you want to use, and you just use that class name in a span wherever you want it. So we're going to go up in the first box, which is Learn. Right inside the H3, we're going to put a span. So the first icon is going to be a book. So we're going to say span class is going to be equal to GLY and then we're going to do a dash book. And it's really as simple as that. So if I copy this, we actually need to change these titles as well. Create. Alright, so for create, we want the I believe. Yeah. So all we have to do is change this book to I. And then this will be teach. And the teach is going to be the road. Okay. Something happened with create. Oh, the class is supposed to be IOpen. Alright, so we have our Glyphicons. I'm not sure why they're so... Oh, we want to put a space after the span tag. I'm sorry, right here. Alright, so it's as easy as that. And you can add these to any element at all. You can add them to a button, to a heading, wherever you want. So, pretty cool. So let's go to the Bootstrap site and look at the list groups. Let's see. List groups. So I'm going to just CSS. Images. I can't seem to find it. Input groups. Button groups. Oh, here we are, list group. Alright, so here's a basic example. I like this here, the linked items. These aren't links here, and these are. And you can see we have the hover effect, we have the blue highlighting of whatever page or link that it's on. So I'm going to grab that. And we want to paste that right in our sidebar, which is right here. Alright, so we have a class of list group, and then each link has a class of list group item, and whichever link you want hovered has the class of active. Okay, so that's colored in. So let's change these names. We'll do home. We'll have the same links that we have in our nav bar. So about, innovate, blog, and contact us. Let's save that. And you can see how easy it is just to pop that nice looking list in there No floating, no padding, no margining, no borders, nothing that you have to do. It's just copy, paste, and change the content. Now we want to change this a little because we want to have. I want this to be red, and by default it's blue, and they don't really specify a way to change the color, so we're just going to have to do that on our own. So if we go to CSS, okay, we want to find out the classes that we need to create here. So let's open up Chrome Tools. Okay, so we need this here, these classes. You can see that's where the background color and the border colors are. So let's overwrite those. We're going to give it a background of CA2129, and border is actually border is going to be the same color, because if we don't specify the border, we're going to have a blue border. So save, and now it's red. So it's as easy as that. Alright, so what I want to do next is add a little bit of what's called custom content, which is this here. It's just this list with a heading and a paragraph. And we made it gray when you hover over it. If we go to the Bootstrap site, the active is normally blue. We want to create that to the gray, like the hover. So let's copy this, bring that, put that right below the list group. Alright, so this is actually called a list group as well. It's just on the site they call it custom content. So let's see. I'm just going to paste in some code for the some text for the paragraph. And we want a couple of these. So let's see. I want to copy from the opening link tag to the closing link tag. Let's check that out. Alright, so these are all red, and the reason for that is we changed the list groups to red. So let's add a new class. I'm going to add a new class to this class up here called gray list. And I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to add gray list to the beginning of all these properties. So after the comma, this comma, and what we're going to do is change the background to light gray, change the border to a little darker gray, and change the text to a really dark gray. So now you can see they're gray. Actually, let's go back to the HTML. We only want active on the top one, so get rid of that class. Okay, so it's all good except for this text is too light. And you know what? I'm going to remove that active altogether. Alright, so now we just have the hover effect. So we're almost there for the home page. One thing that I did notice is you can see when we scroll down, the nav bar disappears. If we look at the final one, the nav bar stays with us. So all we need to do to change that is to add in a simple class. So we want to go up to the nav tag with the class of navbar and navbar default. We want to add one more class called navbar dash fixed, and that should do it. Fixed top, because you can also fix it to the bottom. So if we save that, let's take a look. Okay, now it's still there, but you can see our red line has disappeared. So we need to add in, we need to do one more thing. We need to make sure that the bar, the top bar, is inside of the nav tag. So we need to take this and we want to make sure that that's inside here. Save. So now the red bar is back and the header is now, the nav bar is now fixed. Now while we're at it, we might as well style the login and register links like they are here. So let's go back into our CSS, and I'm going to do this at the top after the navbar classes. Alright, so let's see. Let's take a look at the links. We want to give these classes, so I'm going to give this list a class of login, and I'm going to give this a class of register, so we can single those out and customize them individually. So now we can say li.login. Alright, so we want to, and this, we're actually going to do this to the link, so we need to have the A. So we're going to give it a background. The background is going to be CA2129. And we're going to give it a margin bottom of -10 pixels, and we're going to make that important. We're going to make the color white. We're going to give padding on the right and left, so padding right 22 pixels, padding left 22 pixels. So let's take a look at that. Alright, so we're not getting the white text, so let's make that important. Alright. Now let's do the hover version. And the hover version is going to have a background of light gray. Okay. Alright, I don't know why that when I hover over it, it's giving us this space here. Let's see. Background. I'm going to copy this style here. Alright, so that worked. So now we need to do the register link. So I'm just going to I'm actually going to copy all this. Change this to register. Same thing with all of these. Alright, so the register link is going to be blue. So we want a background of 2F98cc. Margin bottoms, that's good. Color is good. Let's see what this looks like. Alright, so we can see the register is bigger. We actually should get rid of that padding for the register link. Alright, so now they're the same size and they have the same hover effect. So looking good. And while we're at it, we might as well add in the footer, which is very easy. Let's see. So right here, we're going to use the HTML5 footer tag. And we're just going to put in a copyright. (2013). We'll just do clean and clear. Okay, so if we reload, here's our text. Let me get rid of this. There's our text. We want it in the middle, and we want some padding. So let's go to the CSS, and down at the bottom, we're just going to style the footer tag. We'll text align center. Do a padding top and bottom 20 pixels, left and right 0. We'll make it bold, and let's take a look. Alright, so we actually want a background color as well. We'll do a very light gray. Alright, so there we have a footer. So it's all coming together. Oh, there actually is one more thing. When I scroll all the way to the top, the nav bar is covering the Jumbotron image. So whenever you have a fixed nav bar, you need to make up for it in margin in the body. Or at least that's how I do it. There's a few different things you could do. So I'm just going to give the body a margin top of, let's try 50 pixels. Yep, alright. So that's good. We're just about there as far as the home page. In the next section, we'll create some media queries because there are some issues. If we make this smaller, I don't like how that happens. You can see this is all off. Down here looks good. If we make it smaller and we click this, you can see we're all messed up down here. I don't want this form, and we don't want these colors and this padding. So we're going to take care of that using media queries next.